Welcome back to WCS America, round of 32 for our final best of 3 of the round of 32. We're so close to the end, and something we haven't spoke about at all, Nate, but it is happening. I think it's important to mention as well, is that we're going to have a little after show, and at the after show we're actually going to do our group drawings for the round of 16. This is something we promised last season on Twitter. Back then we didn't really have enough time to put it together, but a lot of people wanted us to do the group drawings live, and today it is happening.
That's right. You know, it's so very important when we're done. If you're like, you know what, man, I am a diehard WCS America fan. Do not leave, because we're gonna we got the commish. If you want to see some sick group drawings, if you want to see a sick mustache, you get both things in one awesome package. We're gonna draw the groups of the round of 16, which are gonna be playing out. Tickets are already on sale, as you mentioned earlier. You can go to eventbrite.com and search WCS America. Get your tickets. Come out to Burbank, California. Hang out with us. Drink a lot of Red Bull and, well, just have a good time.
You get food as well. We had a lot of pizzas last time. Must say it was really tempting. I'm trying to stop with all the bad food, but I just can't, because every single day, Nate, we're on the road, and it's so easy to just grab a slice of pizza. When you see all these StarCraft 2 fans coming out to the studio, you see them all walking around with salami slices. You're like, It's hard to say no now. It's hard to keep my posture. Either way, we are getting ready for our final best of 3 of today, and this could be a very good one as well. Earlier today, we saw Slam, where we didn't have too many expectations of him going into the day. Of course, we know that the Taiwanese scene is good with that Taiwanese esports league. They have a bunch of good players. We know that Sen is very good after recently winning the Taiwanese Open. He's always been good. And we know they have a few other good players, but I still thought that this group is going to be between the 2 North Americans and Bomber. But boy, oh boy, did Slam prove us wrong so far.
Yeah, Slam played a very interesting set of builds against Bomber in the first series of the day. I gotta say, I feel like this is the kind of style that works very well against a player like MajOr.
It's going to be difficult for MajOr, I think, regardless, especially if there's indeed going to be that 2-2 Roach Hydra style, which MajOr has struggled against in the past. We casted a couple of his games against Violet in the round of 16 last season. Back then, MajOr was the only North American representative in the round of 16. That is going to be so different. I am actually so pumped as well to see our groups. I can't wait to see where our new North American talents are being put in. Like, we have Neep making a reappearance in the round of 16. Huck is going to be here again. Scarlet is going to be in the round of 16, and even players like Hard. I want to see if we're going to see some Hard TvT again, because that is getting me really excited. And what to think about Jaedong, Bomber, who just qualified, and of course Hero and Tasia as well. I think it is literally impossible to be unhappy with the group drawing today. Yeah, like, that is just impossible. You know you're going to get a killer group regardless. You know you're going to have a lot of great matchups to look forward to. Either way, I also want to know if it's going to be Slam, if we're going to have a Taiwanese player as well in the round of 16. Do we have? No, we don't have a Taiwanese yet in the round of 16, right? Either way, we're going to have. Either way, we're going to have 6 nationalities represented in our round of 16. But the 6th one could be our first Mexican player, or it could be this pretty damn awesome Taiwanese Zerg who's spawning in the left bottom side of Nimbus. He is representing the Yowie Flash Wolves, and it is Slam.
Slam pulled out some pretty smooth moves in his series in the lower bracket match against Puck. Puck, we would say, is a master PvZ, but Slam just, I mean, some of the moves that he did, you just don't see them. Not because they're not good, but because they're incredibly difficult to execute, and really showing some good games. I know we had some tweets out there, you know, hashtagging WCS saying, hey, I'm a fan of Slam now, because I actually want to see these crazy builds in the round of 16. But of course, there's many people cheering for this North American Terran. Representing Root Gaming in the bottom right of Nimbus, he is MajOr.
MajOr has been pretty active over the last few months. Of course, he's a Terran that's always active, but sometimes he's a little bit more on the background because he doesn't really compete in a whole lot of online tournaments. But I feel lately we've seen a lot of MajOr. He was part of the Battlegrounds North America. He is actually going to Battlegrounds Detroit as well. He played in the Intel Extreme Masters qualifier for Toronto, went all the way in that one. But he's actually not going to IEM, I believe, right?
MajOr, no. I think they announced or something along the lines of MajOr's because he's going to Detroit. I think there's something with travel, visas, etc., going between the two countries that close to each other.
All right, either way, MajOr, we've cast a lot of his games lately, and it's always a pleasure to watch Juanito in action. This is going to be a really difficult best of 3 for him, but I'm excited for it regardless. MajOr in general, I feel, plays a little more active than Bomber does in this matchup. Bomber likes to take a slow and steady approach, but if he's being pushed to the limit, if he has to be fast, Bomber showed us earlier today that he can be fast, that he can be at multiple locations at once, but I feel that MajOr is pretty much always trying to do that, while Bomber often just tries to win with 1 or 2 big fights. So Slam is going to be tested a little bit more as well. He's going to get less freedom. The Reaper, unfortunately for MajOr, is actually heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah, not too fun. You made a good point, though, Roddy. And if that series against Puck says anything, there was a lot of aggression from MajOr. You know, Terran versus Terran is a matchup where when you're playing against somebody like Bomber, someone who is on such a higher level, not necessarily skill-wise, but you know, the prestige, you look and you're like, yeah, Bomber should beat MajOr. But against players like Slam, like Puck, when MajOr's it's a bit more even footing, you get the impression that it's even footing. He can play out these crazy long games in this Reaper, man. Oh, scout cross first, then top right. He's feeling sour about his life.
Yep. That is not the way you want to start off with. You roll the dice, you go cross map. Nope. Well, I tried. Then you go to the right top side of the map. Now, by the time that this Reaper is going to make his way into the main base of Slam, speed is going to be close to finishing up. I do hope for MajOr that he will still be able to spot the fact that there is an extractor, because that's information that you would like to have in this phase in the game, because that's often a tell whether or not you're going to have to worry about roaches and Hydralisk.
Yeah, this Reaper is still skirting around, and we'll be able to at least see the gas, which is the most important part of this. Although, I don't think he had time to click on that and find out. You know, you can get early enough scout to know, hey, speed's about to finish.
I felt like he saw enough. He clicked on it real quick. These guys, they are so quick. They only need 0.1 second in general to put the pieces in the right place. If you see something, they know exactly what it means. So MajOr knows that speed is on the way. At least I assume he does. And I think from this point on, it's going to be very straightforward. Only 2 Hellions before... Okay, never mind. Yeah, Widowmine. All right. Tiny bit surprised by this, because in general, MajOr is the type of Terran that loves to open up with 6 Hellions, take some map control, push the creep back, etc., etc. But the quick medevac...
The second gas in the starport, he wants to do a Widowmine drop, and this is interesting. You might even see him build some Marauders when this tech lab is done.
This could be fantastic if... there's going to be double evolution chamber before the layer. Bailing Nest is actually going down, and 3 more Overlords morphing at once. Slam, what are you up to? What are you up to?
He is taking a third base and another gas, but there's a lot of Zerglings in the production tab.
I think this is a little similar to what Jigua did against Stasia on Nimbus. There we go, Nate. Still nothing but Zerglings.
And MajOr's actually going to transition into a Banshee play. He's moving his starport onto that tech lab. Huh. What a weird start.
What was this best of 3 where MajOr did literally everything right? Like every single time he went for Widowmines, it worked out great. It was like this game on Nimbus as well. I just forgot which one it was, because we've seen so many games of MajOr lately. But it was this one series where MajOr just, every single decision he made, like worked out. Oh, it was MajOr against Hawk. You remember that?
Yeah. That was gnarly. MajOr's Hellions are being pushed back, but that medevac, man, 4 Marines, 2 Widowmines.
No Overseer, no Sport Crawlers.
Damage. Drones are running. These Zerglings are clumping.
Oh. Ooh. Okay, well, that could have been worse.
Yeah. Be a target fire, that would have been nice. So the Spore, let's see. The Widowmine should get one more shot off.
Yep, I think actually they will shoot one more time. So Slam's going to have to be very careful. He's going to have to be aware of this. At the same time, Hellions are swinging into the third base.
Slam too. He's picking off a lot of the drones in that third base. And that Widowmine has just 7 seconds to go before it can fire again. Still trying to deal with these Hellions. Widowmine, it's ready. And it's...
Yeah,
gets nice. 8 kills so total. Not bad.
No, but of course, a couple of them were Hellions. But at the same time, all these Zerglings, I want to say, but all these Hellions are still alive. This Spine getting a couple of good transfusions, though. Will it stay alive? I think eventually it might fall, as this Banshee still pushing out a lot of damage on it.
He's got double armories on the way back home.
He's already up 6 workers. And like we said in the start of the game, MajOr is not going to give Slam the same amount of freedom as Bomber gave him. Not 74 drones for you this time, Slam. You're going to need to try to build a lot of units and make sure you don't take too much damage. Picks up the Hellions as well. The medevac's so low on HP, but it's still alive. And look at this Cloak Banshee. Okay, Spore is ready.
Yeah, Cloak Banshee's doing a lot of work, though. Definitely I would say a solid start to this game for MajOr, because this has delayed the real tech a lot. There's still no Spire on the way. There's no Roach Warren. There's no Baneling speed. Yeah, 1-1 is on the way for the Lings, but against Mech, it's not like your Zerglings with their upgrades are really going to be the big impactful units. What's most important is that Major takes his third as soon as humanly possible.
Of course, you know, there's one downside of going mech in a situation like this, where you actually do quite a bit of economic damage and you force out all the units. There's not going to be a very quick follow-up punch. Often as a Zerg, you will have time to re-establish your own economy and sort of bounce back from that difficult position that you were put in, because it takes a little while before your production truly starts rolling as a mech player.
Yeah, but the third base does get taken from Major. Now, you could do a lot of pressure with these Hellions, but he's just going to chill back for now. Like, he could build all of this up and go, yeah, double armory, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah, you're right. Of course, double upgrades on the way for Major. It's going to be hard to get double mech upgrades going without an armory. So
there's no roaches. Like, he actually could just kill him with sick micro here.
Yeah, 11 Hellbats.
Oh, Hellbats. Oh, hell.
It's a good way to put it. The Hellbats are marching in. There are 9 Banelings on the way. It's so important that Slam did have his Baneling nest. But Major is going to find the
he's on
Banelings.
top of the Morphing Banelings. If he can cancel these, that'd be really nice.
He's going to have to split up his Hellbats then a tiny bit. Good old Hellbat splitting. Why not? And look at these Banshees wreaking havoc as well. Juanito bringing the pain early game to Slam. Look at all these Zerglings. So many Zerglings have died already in this game.
Hellbats, man, they do not care about your Zerglings. Do not care about your pain.
I feel that this is almost it. I think this is it. There are 16 Zerglings on the way.
He's got a Spire about to finish, but Major's already got 2 Thors out on the map.
He can kill the Spire if he really wants to.
Thors.
He's going to work on the Spire. The Spire will finish up. 4 Mutalisk will be on the way, but not before so many drones. Oh my god, Major has killed 117 units in this game already.
I don't think 4 Mutas are going to win the game when there are 4 Thors out on the map, Roddy.
There are still 56 drones alive. That is actually really impressive, but he lost all of his queens, just a single queen remaining. Few more Banelings will eventually morph. Banshee's picking away at these Banelings as well. Hellbats are still alive now, even Larva is dying. Oh my goodness. Oh, careful with these drones. The Hellbats are still alive.
The Hellbats are still here.
Man, Major. Talking about aggression early on, Nate. 159 units have died.
And now there's still no tech for Slim. He just has 4 Mutas.
Yeah, he lost the Spire. The Banshees actually killed the Spire.
Oh, man. And Major's like, well...
Just like a follow-up push with Hellions and Taurs. It's GG.
Hey, he could turn all these Hellions into Hellbats. He could pull like 20 SCVs and just go end the game
I don't think he even needs to morph them into Hellbats. Like, he has 4 Taurs.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, how are you gonna, like, and where's he gonna get the larva from? Where is Slam ever gonna get the larva from after losing all these queens?
GG!
Yeah, Slam knows it. There's no way he's gonna kill these Taurs. Different type of Terran, different strokes for different folks. Major is no bomber. He's not gonna give you the same amount of freedom. And Major picks up game number 1 convincingly with crazy, relentless aggression early on.
Man, that was an explosive start for Major. And despite having a very late scout, he got just enough information to tell him that, hey, this build could work. Builds like that can fall flat on their faces so easily against Roach openings or really defensive heavy queen play. But Major, he did everything right, and that drop with the Hellions running by at the same time just bought him so much time.
It's cool as well to see Widowmines being used in that phase in the game in this matchup. You don't see it super often, but against these builds where lay attacks are not that quick, and especially if the Zerg player didn't scout, like, all right, Banshee openings, like, why would you really get a Spore Crawl in every base that early on? And the Widowmines, well, they didn't do fantastic, but they got a couple of Zerglings, and above all, they distracted Slam, which allowed these Hellions to pick up those first drones, and also do a lot of work on these queens. The queens burned all of their energy trying to keep that Spinecrawler alive, so for the follow-up push, they didn't really have any transfusions available anymore. Yeah,
that was truly an impressive, aggressive opening. I don't necessarily know that we'll see the same setup in game number 2. We don't have
it depends a lot on the map.
Yet.
Like, I think maps are so important in this day and age in this matchup. Also, the second map is going to be played on Overgrowth. Well, that is a map where a similar playstyle could work, but it's also going to be a tiny bit easier for Slam to see stuff like this coming.
Yeah, I think this is a better map against like a build like that for Slam. Like, the natural is just, it's so droppable. In Nimbus, it basically begs to get dropped with what, I mean, you can drop pretty much anything at that point, but The third base is also open enough that run by worked really well.
Yep. I mean, we have seen a couple of crazy Helmet and Marine pushes on this map against Zerg players that refuse to get a Roach Warren. Then you just see these Helmets marching into the natural, and then there is a little bit of a choke point. It's like, well, the Helmets are like, cool, that works for us. Oh, what a good opening there for Juanito, who wants to make WCS America round of 16 for the second season in a row. I do not believe he was part of round of 16 in Cologne back then, right? We had Neep, Huck, and Puck. Those were the only three North Americans.
Neep, Huck, and Puck were the three North Americans that made it to season 1.
But Major did make it in season 2 to the round of 16, and he wants to go all the way again in season 3. And he has a very difficult opponent, but he did kind of get a cheeky game 1 victory over this Taiwanese Zerg, who has been very impressive today. Showed us some very entertaining games, and above all, strategies that are hard to execute. But he just learned that not all Terrans are the same. Over here on the right top side of the map, it is, of course, Yowie Flash Wolves a Slam. It's super confusing, by the way, for the folks at home who miss Challenger. So, like, you look at the tag of the Yowie Flash Wolves, and the S could be part of the Flash Wolves. And then there's also a Taiwanese Zerg player called Ian. Or maybe it's Ian. I think it's Ian with an N. But it's like Ian and Yowie Flash Wolves Slam. But then the S kind of looks part of the clan tag. That was a little confusing. Got me rustled, Nate. Got me wondering what was going on.
Wasn't sure who was who. Which way was up, which way was down. You know what? Look at this. Major.
No.
Major's like, I'd really like to go to the round of 16 now.
He hasn't done this in so long. Of course, over here in the shall we just do it with the Rex? Let's just try it with the Rex. Let's see if we can get a Mexican flag out over here. As our Mexican Terran representing Root Gaming is building 2 Rexes in the middle of the map. It is Major. Blop, it works.
Oh, I like it. We get this scenic view right
yeah,
through the
this is
ferns.
beautiful. Over here in his natural habitat, we see 2 Rexes going down.
The Terran player in his natural habitat. The Overlord grazes, passing by without seeing it.
Second Overlord is in a position where you... Oh, it is a spawning pool before hatchery this time, though. This is something that Slam also did on... Which map did he do this?
Didn't he do
he did it against Puck, but I'm not sure if he did it against Bomber.
I don't think he opened pool first against Bomber at all.
So, wow, good star sense there.
Yeah, well, okay, so the first SCV is going to be spotted by this Overlord as he moves up. And I imagine he wants to immediately plop down a bunker. Now, there's nothing here that's actually checking. Now he's going to send a drone. He's going to send a drone to look.
Yep.
But he's actually going to scout with the SCV, so he doesn't want to... He's not showing his hand yet.
Nope, because, I mean, Major obviously sees that this hatchery was not a hatch first.
Yeah.
So now I kind of
He realizes that he's like, oh, okay,
he's like,
what's going on here?
So I actually think it's smart. Now you kind of want to be like, hey, Zerg, just drone up, man. Like, you should just try to drone up. Now the Overlord has made his way across the map. He's going to see this SCVs leave. So if Slam wasn't sure yet, he's definitely going to be sure now. And it's going to be nothing but Zerglings on the production tab. And normally, Slam should be able to deal with this, but... You know, some of these Terrans, Nate, they're pretty good in the crazy 11-on-11 shenanigans.
Yeah, Major has to play this one nice and slow because, as you said, there was that spawning pool was built very early, which means he's got his Zergling production going much faster. He could very easily get overwhelmed by a large swell of Lings, and 6 more on the way. This could be enough. In all honesty, if these Marines get caught out of position, that's why he's building this bunker so far back so that he has a point to retreat to. And with no gas, Slam can only defend with pretty much just spines and queens, I think.
But he does have one spine already pretty much finished up. He's going to bring that spine to the low ground. Of course, it's still going to be important. A couple of Zerglings spawn, and they won't get picked off immediately. Drones being pulled as well.
Already.
I'd like to see some hold position, perhaps.
He really just wants this spine crawler to get planted. It's beginning the rooting process, but if these 2 bunkers finish, he's got enough SCVs to repair this for quite a while.
Only 1 Marine died so far. Good micro by Major.
Get to the bunker.
Get to the chopper.
All right. Well, he's good actually now.
Oh, no, not in the front. Not in the front.
Not in the face.
Wow.
Well, he gets the spine anyway.
Yeah, but he loses both SCVs there. And that's
he saves
one of them.
Secret agent man right there.
Okay, so now Major can hop and down for days. He's going to work on this spine. How much energy is there on the queens? There is enough for 1 transfuse. Major's going to have to be very careful. He's still building
the
Marines.
Roddy. Oh, Marine barely jumps into the bunker. Last second. And these Zerglings are coming. He's bringing the drones as well. Slam pulling everything to try to stop this. But I still think even if he kills these bunkers, he's lost so much in order to make this defense happen.
Yeah, and there are still a lot of Marines over here, Nate.
Yeah.
And there is that backup bunker as well. MajOr is actually looking very good.
This Spine is not defending the east side of the hatchery, and he's lost so many drones.
The proxy Rexes against the Zerg play that open up with a spawning pool first, but MajOr with awesome execution of his build might actually still be able to make this work. There are more Marines than there are Zerglings, and that's never a good sign if you're a Zerg player.
The control from MajOr so good. He pulled more SCVs. He's ready. The hug of death on the Spine Crawler. It goes down. Zerglings not going to be able to make the difference. Slam wants to go to the round of 16, but so does MajOr, and I think this 2rax has just about done it. Rotterdam, all of the drones have fallen. GG. We are going to see MajOr in Burbank.
Wow, that was short and explosive. Not the best of 3 that I had in mind, but congratulations to Juanito for making it to the round of 16, 2 seasons in a row. That is an impressive achievement on its own. I still think that Slam can be very proud of the games that he has played today. He definitely created a fan over here, Nate. I loved watching his games. I thought he played phenomenal against Bomber, and he played absolutely fantastic against Puck, who's one of the better PvZ players that I know, especially outside of Korea. So I think that Joey Flashball Slam can still be proud, can still be satisfied with the games that he has shown, and I think a lot of people won't forget what he has shown us today. But in the end, it is going to be Juanito making it to the round of 16 for the 2nd season in a row.
Really cool. Always been a fan of MajOr, and it was really nice to have him out here. Last season at WCS America, he was the sole North American representative. Now he's got backup, Roddy.
Yep. All right, let's just take a look at the bracket of the entire day. This has been the final day of WCS America Premier League round of 32. Don't tune out yet, though, because we have that after show, like we mentioned before. We are going to do the group drawings today as well. But this was the entire round of 32 with all the players that have advanced. This is actually, no, this is the 2nd group where both Premier League players from last season will advance. So we had Big Baby and Czech doing it in Group D, and in Group H on the final day we saw Bomber and MajOr as the 2 former Premier League players also advanced to the round of 16. Nate, I think we have nothing but phenomenal players, very exciting and entertaining players as well in our round of 16 this season.
Yeah, I couldn't be more impressed. Of course, these are today's matches. If you guys missed today's WCS broadcast, of course, VODs will be online and whatnot, but we had Bomber take out Slam to kick things off in a rather close series, surprisingly close, before Bomber would go on to face off against MajOr, who took a pretty decisive 2-0 victory over Puck. Bomber came out on top of that match to be the player to advance out of the group. Then we saw Slam versus Puck get very, very close, up to just a couple of really sick fungal and blinding cloud combinations before Slam could eke out the advantage just barely to go up against MajOr, who, well, we just saw promptly 2-0'd him as well.
Yep. Either way, it's been another phenomenal day of StarCraft 2 action. This has been the 10th or 11th day in a row that you guys have been able to watch Nate and me sit either here or somebody else. But we're still enjoying it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. We want to thank everybody for all your tweets today. Hashtag WCS. A lot of cool tweets also directed towards our new sponsor, Newegg, of course. I think they're very happy with all the interaction that they have got today. They seemed happy, at least. They tweeted a couple of cool things, so that makes us happy.
Yeah. Really awesome to have Newegg as a part of the WCS America Premier League moving forward. And it's been really nice, as you said, to hear from all of you guys. Of course, those of you who picked Bomber in your ESL Fantasy League, probably pretty happy. It was 81% of you who signed up. And of course, if you're saying, Nate, what are you talking about? I want internet points. Fantasy.eslgaming.com/SC2. It's okay. You can have fun with it. You can go super tryhard, or you can be like me and pick your favorite players and not have too many points. Although there were some cool upsets that gave me extra points.
Definitely don't pick this guy on the right with his 3-character ID. Don't do that.
No.
He's not going to deliver.
He has to play TvT as well. He's not going to be happy with that.
At least 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, well, according to Todd, if he has to play 1, even that will tilt him enough out of the group.
Yeah, I'm going to be sedated. I have to play this matchup again. Of course, WCS Europe is coming closer and closer as well to their kickoff. This is actually bizarre that we are ahead of them. Like, since we wrapped up the round of 32 before they even start. Like, what is this trickery, Nate? What madness is this?
That's pretty crazy. Of course, their round of 32 will kick off on the 19th of August. They have a lot of great players, of course, there as well. And GSL round of 32 has been going on
Yep.
for a little bit. I think I was watching a little bit of last night. Got to see Byung.
Okay, spoiler alert. I saw Byung do very well on the Nimbus. That was actually a really surprising game, but who made it in the end? I didn't even see it.
I actually did not see the final results. All I saw...
How are you not awake at 4:30 a.m., Nate? Like, why would you do this? Where is your passion?
You know what? We had to go in a little bit earlier today. I decided to get some... I lost my passion and got like an extra 30 minutes of sleep. I apologize, guys.
I was watching this game on the Nimbus, and this Protoss was actually derping a little bit. That was really sick. It was like a Tor and a Marauder killing like 74 supply of a Protoss army.
Without actually explaining the results, because I don't know them, there was a really cool game. We saw Marines, Marauders, and Thors versus Protoss. Like a lot of Thors versus Protoss.
That was so weird because you saw this Terran army move commanding. It's like, this is really bad for the Terran. But then there's like one Marauder in a choke point being healed up by a medevac with a Tor behind it, just shooting away at Zealous. That was really cool. The GSLs, of course, always fantastic to watch. But this is almost going to be it for us today. This is going to be it for this part of the broadcast, though. But if you guys want to stick around for 5-10 minutes, go take your bathroom break, go walk with the dog, do all the beautiful things in life. Well, don't do it in Europe. It's probably really late. Unless your dog really has to, then you still have to go out, even if it's cold. Sorry, guys. You have to please the dog. But stay tuned. We're going to throw to another final break. It's not really a break. It's more like we're going to throw to a different part of the show. We're going to close this part. And then in roughly 5 or 10 minutes, we will be back with the group drawings for WCS America round of 16. So, like Nate said, if you're that diehard fan that really can't wait, that doesn't want to read the results on Team Liquid or Reddit or StarCraft2.com/WCS, if you want to be part of the whole phenomenal life, stay tuned. And we'll be right back with the group drawings for WCS America round of 16 Premier League.
drowning pain, it's silly time to learn to swim. Every time you look around, pain is the only what you find. You're still dreaming head up high, try to leave him all behind. Your black eyes betray you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series Premier League, powered by Newegg. It's time for the round of 16 group drawing. We had a ton of round of 32 games. They were great. We wrapped all of it up today. And to help us out, Kev, we got someone really awesome. We got one of our administrators, works behind the scenes, but he's ready to help us do some group drawings.
Yep, I believe you guys know him as the Stash or Cam Dozer, but to us, he's just good old Cammy. So, Cammy, why don't you tell us what's going to happen today?
You know, there was only one person in my entire life that was allowed to call me Cammy. I was in 6th grade, she was in 8th grade. Enough said. Anyway, I'm Cameron, Cam Dozer Reed. Super excited and honored to be serving everyone here again as the commish. What it's my job to do today is to draw the round of 16 players. Couple ground rules to lay down first of all, so everyone's on the same page. We all know exactly what's going on here. The round of 16 will consist of 4 groups of 4 players each. In order to draw these groups, I will first begin selecting the winners from the round of 32. That's the players that went 2-0 in their groups. Once all of them have been seeded, I will then begin drawing from the people who advanced in the lower bracket. That would be the players that went 2-1 in the round of 32. At that point, we'll have the round of 16 completely ready to go, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to see how these groups are going to develop. Let's see, Nate, you guys, Roddy, ready to go with this thing? All right, here we go. So, in this lovely envelope, I have all 8 players who advanced in the upper bracket in the round of 32. I will now place them into this hat, the sorting hat, if you will, and begin drawing the first player. And our first player, who will be randomly seeded into the round of 16, is going to be Violet. Violet, the first player to get an athletic visa from the U.S. government, will be placed into the first group. Moving right along here, our next player will be Igaz, the Australian, who surprised a lot of people by advancing into the round of 16. Actually advanced in a group that featured Alicia. It was really exciting. I can't wait to see how that guy goes on from this point forward. Moving forward here, next player will be Hyun. Hyun, the 2014 WCS America Season 1 champion. And next will be Tasia. That already has the makings of potentially a group of death right there. Tasia will be placed into the second group for the round of 16. Next we will have... One second. I'm back. Next will be Check. Check, the Zerg player. Moving right along, not wasting any time here. The next player seeded into the third group will be Bomber, who just advanced quite decisively in today's group. Then we're going to have, in the fourth group, Holt. Holt will be in the fourth group. 2-time WCS America champion. And finally, the last winner in the round of 32 will be Hart. Of course, it will be Hart, seeded into Holt's group. Already 2 very strong Terrans in that fourth group. Nate, Roddy, what do you guys think of the way the groups look so far?
Well, I'm not going to lie. These are the kind of players that they're all scary. Pretty much any one of these guys, when we looked at the beginning of the season, I would say there's only a few exceptions. That most of them are probably contenders to make it very deep in this tournament, potentially towards the top 8. I don't think that there's any surprises, though, that we weren't expecting players like Igaz to make it through, of course. I think Violet in a group with Igaz, you know, those are 2 players we don't really see play each other a lot.
No, I think so far, if you're one of the players that hasn't been drawn yet, you would like to be placed in either Group A or in Group C. I think the group with Check and Bomber, of course, that's scary. But if you ask me, you know, Check or Bomber or Hyun or Tasia, well, I think most people will say then I prefer Check and Bomber. Of course, Group D could turn out to be a group where you really don't want to be put in if you're a Zerg player. As hard as TvT is phenomenal, and even Paul has really been stepping up his TvT over the last few weeks. And Paul had a lot of practice at the Battlegrounds Global, as he was in a group with a couple of the scariest Zerg players out there. So far, there is not too much to be said yet. think Group A, Igas and Violet, I think both of the players are kind of pleased with that. You know, I think Igas rather goes up against Violet than go up against Sean. So I think he's happy with it. I think Violet rather goes up against Igas than go up against TvT or Bomber. So I think he's okay with it, or Hart or Polt for that matter.
Yeah.
So I think from this point, Cammy, when you start dropping the next few names, that's where things get really exciting.
Yeah, let's find out what the next couple of picks will be as we round out the round of 16 groups.
I'm really not okay with this Cammy thing. But we'll move right forward. I am now placing into the hat, the sorting hat, all of the players who advance in the lower bracket in the round of 32. And there is one caveat, actually, that I should explain to complete this drawing. No two players that were in the same round of 32 group can be seeded into the same round of 16 group. So if you see me rearranging the groups in any way, that would be your reason. So moving right along, the first group, which has Violet and Igas already, will now as well feature Scarlet. A lot of people, one of my favorite North American players, very strong Zerg player going into the group against another very strong Zerg, Violet. And let's see if we can complete this group now. The next name out of the sorting hat is Hero.
Ooh.
Hero, the Protoss. So we have a pretty well-balanced group here, the very first group. We got 2 Zergs, a Terran, and a Protoss. How do you guys think that group looks?
Well, I think the group just got a lot stronger, Cameron.
Yeah.
These are 2 of the strongest players that I think you could have been adding as runner-up. Scarlet and Hero are both phenomenal, both tournament champions. Hero, of course, the champion of WCS America Premier League Season 1 in 2013. Scarlet, I don't think she needs an introduction at all. This is, you know, before I was like, Igas, I could see something happen. Now I think it's going to be very difficult for our Aussie Terran. Stacked group, but I think Scarlet and Hero are the favorites on paper.
Yeah, that's making things really interesting. Scarlet's got some good ZVZ. Her ZVT has always been top-notch, and I think, you know, Hero made it out of his group, but we've seen, you know, Hero not. We did make sure he's in top form when he comes in the round of 16 because he's been a little bit shaky. I'm really excited to see who gets into Group B because whoever gets picked for that one definitely doesn't want to be in that group. Let's find out who's going to get put in with TvT and Hyun.
Yeah, I certainly would not want to be one of the sad picks who comes up next, but we will have Jaedong.
Oh,
that's already quite a group.
oh my God.
Hyun and Jaedong in the same group. Everybody, raise your dongers at home because that's going to be something to watch.
Oh my God.
Wow, okay. And next, we have Pig Baby.
No way!
The Season 2 2014 WCS champion up against the Season 1 2014 WCS champion Jaedong and Tasia. Can you guys believe this group?
This
No, I cannot, Cameron. I actually cannot.
That's one hell of a group, man. Hyun, Jaedong, Tasia, and Pig Baby.
I'm actually lost for words. I literally just tweeted. The only thing I could say is LOL because this is just ridiculous. How is this even possible in the round of 16?
Oh my God.
You have the Season 1 champion, you have the Season 2 champion, you have arguably the greatest RTS player of all time, and then you have the player who has won the most amount of tournaments in StarCraft 2 history. Like, how do you come up with a group like this? Are you sure that's not rigged? Did you make some of the papers warm or something?
Hey, I, as the commish, am completely unbiased in this process, just so you know.
Well,
but wow, I almost don't even want to move forward with the draw because I just want to keep thinking about this one. But let's go ahead and move right along into our third group, which has Czech and Bomber currently. The next player in this group is going to be Jim. Jim, the Chinese Protoss, who we've seen quite a bit of recently, actually. He's been kind of steadily a member of the scene, and I'm excited to see what the future may hold for him. And let's see if we can complete this group now. Huck. Huck, top 3 control, Huck. So we have another completed group. Check. Jim, Bomber, and Huck. Guys, what do you think of this one?
A more balanced group, I would say. Not as mind-blowing as Group B. Of course, still a very strong group, don't get me wrong. But I actually think that this is an okay-ish group for Hawk. You know, looking at it from the North American point of view. Bomber, that's going to be very difficult for Hawk. Especially in the current state of PvT. That won't be easy. PvP between Hawk and Jim. Jim is really strong in Protoss vs Protoss, by the way. Really not to be underestimated. I actually think that could be his strongest matchup at the moment. So that will still be difficult for Hawk, but doable. And then you have Check, who is a very good Zerg player, but he's no Hyun or Jaedong or Scarlet, I feel. So it's doable. It's really hard. I think this is a group where Red Bull's Bomber is going to be very pleased with.
Yeah.
I actually think this is a group where all 4 players are relatively pleased with their group, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, especially, I think if you've dodged the Group B and Group D bullet, you've got to be happy either way. Any one of those players can make it out of this group. We've seen a lot of signs of brilliance from all players there. Now, it means we only have a couple more players that could get put into that last group, and
yes, we do.
I don't want to be in a group with Polterheart either, to be honest, Rotterdam.
No. Well, I think there are only 2 options left, you know, looking at it all. So we'll just see how this one plays out.
All right, guys. So the last 2 players are going to be Neeb, North American. Already got 3 Terrans in this group. Polt, Neeb, Hart. And that leaves, of course,
oh my god,
MajOr, the TvT supergroup. Polt, Neeb, Hart, and MajOr. Wow. Okay, so we've got the group of death in the second group. We've got the TvT supergroup in the 4th group. What is this, guys?
Oh, man.
All right.
This makes my Terran heart beat fast, Roddy.
That is September the 10th, correct? I am afraid I might just have a horrible cough on September the 10th, and that it's going to be a solo cast by
you know
by
what?
Nate.
I'll take it.
No, that is a badass group as well. I also think a group that our North American Terrans have a little bit of a chance. I think Hart is a little bit sad. He would have loved to see a Zerg in there. His TvT is good. I think Polt is very happy with that group, because Polt's TvT, yes, he lost against MajOr recently, but normally you would say that is actually a good group for MajOr as well, if you think about it. Like, his TvT is solid.
Yeah, this is a cool group. We've seen MajOr take series off of Polt. We've seen all of these guys come close to taking series off each other. Neeb almost defeated Polt when he was placed into the same round of 16 group as him in Season 1 of WCS America. So this is a really cool group. We don't have many times, guys, these days we have a group of all Terran players.
I think we said it in the start of this drawing that it was going to be really hard for us to be unhappy with these groups, and obviously that holds true, but I'm safe to say I think that I'm very happy with this group drawing, Nate. All 4 groups looked really cool. Group B is absolutely ridiculous. That is a group that, you know, if you wanted to created the most stacked group in this tournament, I don't think you had to do a whole lot of swapping out of that group. I think that pretty much does it. Like, I don't know who you would remove from that group. That's just insane. I think a really cool group drawing overall. I think a lot of people are very happy with that drawing, other than the guys in Group B. They're not happy with us, but I think Group A, C, and D, I think you're going to have a lot of players that's like, well, obviously it's not easy, because it's never going to be easy, but I can see myself making it out of this group. That makes it really fun for us as well, because I'm looking at it, and I don't have clear favorites in many groups, and it makes it really exciting going into the broadcast.
Yeah, this round of 16 is going to be epic, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed our little presentation we put together here. I know a lot of you wanted to see a live drawing. This is about as raw as it could have gotten, so you guys know this is, we just happened to randomly get an incredibly epic set of round of 16 groups.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier myself. What are your thoughts, Commissioner? Are you happy? Are you satisfied with your own performance?
Well, my performance I'm always pretty satisfied with, but this is absolutely unreal. As a StarCraft fan, I cannot wait to watch all of this action unfold. And I have no words. Just Group B is so insane. I'm looking down, I can't even begin to pick a favorite out of that group, because they're all so evenly matched and so good. But I wanted to thank everybody at home for watching and for tuning in. It's been a real honor serving as the commish once again, getting back to my roots, as it were. And can't wait to see you guys all here. Don't forget to come out to the round of 16. That's going to be live here in our studio in Burbank. And I can't wait to see you guys. Until next time.